Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Monday night live stream. So, just like title and thumbnail suggests, we're going to take a look at what I call the macro bulls, a lot of things that are going on. So, let's just jump right into it. So, first of all, today was actually a pretty good day, and I was quite surprised because if you took a look at what's going on behind the scenes and what's coming up for this week, it would seem like we'd have a pretty tumultuous beginning of this week, but it was actually pretty tame. We'll take a look at that in a second. But I want you to be aware of everything that is coming up and what this could potentially lead to. So macro bull, as I would call it here, is we've got a lot of different macro events that are coming up, which could sway a lot of what the market is going to do. We have manufacturing PMI data, the JOLT job opening data, which actually has been quite stable, which is quite impressive. And the big one, which will be Wednesday, April 2nd, will be President Trump's Liberation Day. Now, this is for reciprocal tariffs. I'm not going to talk too much about it on this channel, and especially for this video, because everybody knows about it. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody has their theories, and nobody knows exactly what's going to happen, not even President Trump. I think that we can all, hope for the best and prepare for the worst, and hopefully it all works out, and we'll see what happens to it. But really, it comes down to the markets do not like any kind of ambiguity, and they just want to get things straight and want to see where we're at. Whether that's great news or bad news, we'll see where all the chips land. But yeah, Wednesday is going to be a pretty big day as far as reciprocal tariffs. And also, just to reverse a little bit, tomorrow, just so you guys don't freak out and have heart attacks, is April Fool's Day. So just be aware that you're going to get a lot of stupid YouTube videos claiming some outrageous thing, but it's all in fun. And it's April Fool's, so don't have a heart attack. And then also we'll get non-farm employment data on Thursday, and then March jobs report with Jerome Powell speaking on Friday. So the jobs report is the big thing, because we're going to take a look at this. We're going to see like what is going on the economic side, the job growth side as far as America goes. And we take a look back January, February 2025, we actually, as far as like monthly job creation, we did a pretty good job, 151,000. Now the expectation was 170,000 jobs, but I think things were actually being cut back, especially as Doge was being rolled out. And we could see that, different areas of the government were actually losing jobs. I have to tell you, it is kind of concerning to me that we have so many jobs that are being created within the government sector. I just don't think that is sustainable if the government's employing so many people. Anyhow, that's probably a discussion for a channel that deals more with the socioeconomics, not a crypto channel. U.S. wage growth has decreased since 2022, but year over year, we're looking at around 4%, so not too bad. Year over year percent change, I should say, 4%, pretty good. And we've seen some pretty good things as far as like the jobs report and numbers and non-farm payroll lately, and have actually beat expectations, but that's what we're going to be taking a look at. And if these numbers come out and it looks like that jobs are stagnant, if it takes a look at any kind of like more data as far as for inflation, which we saw last week, actually inflation is on the rise. And if it gives leeway to any different types of talk about a stagnation in the economy itself, expect the word to be shot out there, stagflation, which we talked about on Saturday. So also Jerome Powell will be speaking as far as an economic outlook. He's going to take a look at all this data and bring this out. Take a look at this. This will be 11:25, roughly 11:30 a.m. or so on Friday, April 4th. So when this comes out, everybody will be watching this that is in traditional and crypto and any kind of markets. They're looking for clues as to where things are going. So this will be a big thing to take a look at and see if we tumble down or not. And I have to tell you, if you just take a look at all this, the sentiment lately has been pretty negative. I mean, let's be honest. We've had a lot of naysayers come out. It seems like more of a bear market than any kind of bull market. Some people say, well, it's a bear market, not a bear cycle. It's this is still a bullish cycle in the 4 years, which I still think we're in that 4 years, unless we come out to November or so and nothing happens. We'll see how that works out. But it's just, to put everything together is difficult. And even me, when I was, I'm trying to find all the clues that I possibly can about what's happening as far as like in the macro and what's going to happen. And of course, I mean, everybody can take a look at the charts and see where we're at, but just last night, I mean, we got a report that Trump was looking to not be very friendly and diplomatic towards Putin. I said that probably wouldn't do well. And then, of course, the pre-market, as far as overnight trading, we could see that a lot of stocks were down pretty big. I mean, Tesla, again, overnight trading, negative 5%, Robinhood down 5%, NVIDIA 3%, AMD, Meta, everything was down in overnight trading. But then what happens when we get the S&P 500 opens up? Oh, doing pretty good, almost up over 0.5%. And for the negativity that is surrounding, especially tariff, and the economic data that's coming out this week, I thought it was a big win. And over one day, we can see it's looking pretty good. But over 5 days, not so much. Over a month, not really. Over 6 months, still looking pretty bad. And the crypto market today, hey, today's great. I mean, we're up. We didn't take a decline of like 10 or 20% in Bitcoin. That's pretty great. 0.3%. But again, we've got a long way to go. Look at this. In the last week, Bitcoin's down 6.5%. 30 days, 4%. Ethereum, which was actually up for 1%, is still down 13 and 18% across the board. XRP took a hit today, had no gains, 2%, down 15% for the week. And then Solana just holding steady, 10%, and then off across the board. But if you just take a look at this last column, the 30-day, almost everything's in the red except for Tron and Toncoin. Great. Let's see what else. BitGet token somehow was a white Bitcoin, sure. The Kronos up 34%, even though someone, if you could illuminate me on what's going on with crypto.com, because I thought that the Kronos token, didn't they burn a bunch of it and then bring it all back? Anyhow, so that's what we have in the markets, and that is what it is. But there's one thing you can always count on, and that is that Jim Cramer will say something that'll be the exact opposite. So this was actually a tweet from Jim. He says, I can't think of a dumber day to buy stocks than today. And you know what? If you look at it, you're like, it is a pretty reasonable assessment, because especially with what we thought would happen. And of course, today was actually a pretty good day for the S&P 500. So that's what's happening in the markets. Let me know what you think about that in the comment section, especially as we get to the tariff. That'll be interesting. And I got to tell you, this month so far, well, actually, I should say this. We're about to round out this month, and March is usually a pretty green month, going back to even 2022 when we had that monstrous crash. It was still a green month. And of course, in the bull market, the 4-year cycle time frame, March is a great month, up 18% in 2021. But this March down 4%. February negative 14.5%. And one of the good months itself was 6%. Now, this is just Bitcoin. If we take a look at the total market cap, still, it's even worse, actually. 2025, February is down 20%, March 4%. And you just see that, 4 years prior, I mean, we had great March and February, but it's not. So how does that all look if we just compare cycles? And this is a pretty interesting way to look at it. And we've done this a couple of times through Ben's website. We're taking a look at the Bitcoin market cycle bottom ROI. And you can take a look at market cycle 1 and market cycle 2, but those first 2 cycles were pretty crazy, and there's a lot of wasn't really an established time frame. I wish I was there during that time frame. That'd be great, but who knows if I could hang on. So what I like to look at is market cycle 3, which was starting in from the bottom, which was 2015, and then market cycle 4, which started in 2018 at the bottom, and market cycle 5, the one we're in now, in 2022. So we can see that, in all honesty, what we're looking for, our market cycle 5 is this like lavender, whatever color this is. And that would be the current one, market cycle 5. And what we're taking a look at is the return on investment. And you can just see that. And besides like the previous cycle, I mean, it was going insane. But then we're kind of converging and actually doing the same thing. And it was just going across and doing great. So I know when people say, well, this is totally different. Well, take a look here. We take a look at this again, the last cycle going back to 2020 February. We had this thing called coronavirus, and look at the ROI just drop out of the floor drop out. If we take a look at cycle in 3 and 4, we're still up. I mean, pretty good. I mean, 4 and 5, and 4 was the loser at this point. And of course, we come here, and again, it's like we were tracking, doing pretty well. Then, of course, market cycle 4 started to just take off. This is going on January, February 2021, and then up to almost March or so. And about right here is where we're pretty close. Market cycle 3 was roughly a 7x. And the market cycle 5 we have now is 6x. The market cycle 4 was just crazy, 18x. So to this point of February, March, and April, across the board, we're doing pretty good. But if we zoom out a little bit, like everybody says, right? When in doubt, zoom out. Well, look what happened. Now you see the bigger story. And the bigger story is that we are massively, let me say it again, massively underperforming this cycle. It's just true. And you can look at it any way you want to. You can cut it. It's just the truth. At this point, as far as days go, since the bottom, you're looking at day 872. The previous cycle, you're up 18x from the bottom. It's pretty good, right? Remember the bottom of market cycle 4 in 2020, Bitcoin went down to like 3,000, 4,000, somewhere around there. And that's why. The market cycle 3, this is going back to 2017. Again, the bottom was 2015. You're up 14x. Market cycle 5, you're up a measly 5x. Boo-hoo. I shouldn't say it like that. Hoo-hoo? I don't know. But again, as far as like performance-wise goes, it's pretty awful. It's pretty abysmal. But where else can you find gains like this? I mean, you're not going to get this in S&P 500. You're just not. You're not going to get them. You get them through individual stocks, I'll tell you that. That's for sure. But you got to hold quite a long time, or you got to hit something like NVIDIA at the right time, at the right place, at the right moment. Very difficult. Or you just get into something like this. But yeah, so if we take a look at this, we are not doing so great. We're underperforming. However, I got to tell you, I'll still take a 5x over anything. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And then just to finish up before I do a little Q&A, this is the scariest picture you're going to see tonight. And I want you to really focus on this, because all this stuff that we just talked about, doing a 5x or a 16x, that's cute. That's real adorable. But it doesn't mean a damn thing if somebody screws you out of your money, some kind of scammer, and you're out. It's not how much you make, it's how much you keep. And this person got pig butchered, some type of social engineered scam, and he sent 400 of his Bitcoin to some unknown wallet for some unknown reason. We don't know the full story, but this is what we got. Coinbase users may have lost over 46 million to phishing scams in March, with one victim reportedly losing 400 Bitcoin, according to Zach XBT. And this, apparently one of these wallets that was received to, is a wallet that is, I guess, reported to be one of the big scammers out there that has been stealing funds left and right. And all these things, it's like, I mean, we talk about like when we should invest and when we should take out, and should we DCA, should we lump sum, or should we value cost average? And it doesn't mean a squat. It doesn't mean anything if you lose it. So what's the point, right? Like if you really think about that, what is the point of doing all this investing? If someone is going to come around and just screw you up. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter if you're, well, here's the first thing. This person was able to accumulate 400 Bitcoin. So he had some relatively good knowledge, or probably the right place at the right time. And when people say, wow, he's just stupid. No. I've known a lot of smart people who gotten screwed over by their funds. A lot. It doesn't matter how smart you are, or how sharp you are, or how big you are in the game. you're going to come across this, and it's going to happen, and it's going to suck. And there's a lot of different things of how this could come about, but I just take a look at this and it scares the hell out of me, because I know one of you is going to fall for it. I know it, and I can't stop it. So just look at this, 400 Bitcoin. Hopefully that wasn't all the Bitcoin, but maybe it is. And that's sitting in some scammer's wallet, and they are able to do whatever they want with that. And they're probably having a great time too. Anyhow, there's things you can do. There's a cold storage device. There's TANGEM. There's a link in the description for that. It's the banner today. I think it's like 20% off or something like that. It's cold storage. You got to know how to do that. But even if you have cold storage, sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you get some social engineering scam and something happens. Other thing you can do also is start changing your passwords. You can use 2FA, but we've talked about that and how the codes are actually saved on Google on your email account. Good luck. And then Base Bailey says it right. iTrust Capital for the win. So I don't know if you knew this, but I started this, I want to say 3 weeks ago. So iTrust Capital, I've trusted them with my ROTH IRA for 3 years, and now they have custody service, which I like, because people say, well, why would you do that? Why would you do custody service? Why would you? Well, look, Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy are fine with it. Fink and BlackRock are fine with it. They use Coinbase Prime. I'm going to be fine with it. I'm going to diversify. If people can diversify their assets, why shouldn't they diversify their risk? So I signed up for premium custody. And essentially what it is, it's custodying it's not my crypto. I'm purchasing Bitcoin with cash. They hold the Bitcoin for me. When I want to take it out, it has to go in cash. Meaning I can't just say, hey, send Bitcoin to this wallet. Here's my two-factor authentication. Bam, it's gone. First, you got to sell it. Then it's got to go to cash. Then it's got to go to your bank account. And it can only be the bank account that you have on file. And then, I hate to tell you this to you, but they're going to ask you like, hey, we're seeing that you just took out $35 million. Is there a reason for that? And people will say, hey, how the hell are they going to sit there and ask me what I'm doing with my money? I guarantee someone would have been thankful for someone to say, what are you doing with $35 million and transferring it right now? Maybe I'm off base. Maybe I am. Regardless, I'm going to do it. And I've actually already done it. It's been 3 weeks, put a bunch of funds into Bitcoin. Actually, I feel pretty safe, because I don't know, like around here, I mean, in Puerto Rico, I don't want to get wrench attacked. Someone beat the hell out of me for all my crypto, which has happened to the Ledger co-founder, Chicago gentleman as well. So stick it in there, goes through there, goes to the bank, has to be picked up at the bank. Good luck. Banks suck, but that's just what it is. So there is that. And then also, just as a reminder, for a Roth IRA for tax-deferred savings, you can still roll that into 2024 until April 15th, and then contribute to 2025 after that if you want to, because there's limits. And that's it for my little rant for tonight for that one. And lastly, since I'm on a tirade, this is a pretty good one from Stache. I actually like these stories because it kind of blurs it kind of blends the line between like the dirty, filthy VCs that everybody loathes and hates to stories like this. So this is what I saw on my stream today, my feed. Stache says, not a great look to shaft early investors at the last minute. I do believe in the long-term potential for this game, but investors need to support a TGE or token generation event. Most tokens are locked for 12 months, which is a long time, but not as long as some other gaming VC deals I've seen. What is he talking about? He's talking about that awesome game called Off the Grid, which is on Avalanche and is also from Gunzilla Games. This is a good one. Okay, bad news for all the seed and strategic investors in Off the Grid and Gunzilla. There was supposed to be a 5% unlock for the 40 million seed and 2% for the 60 million strategic rounds. Many of the early investors did a 50-50 check, blah, blah, blah. But it looks like Binance forced the last-minute changes as listing requirements to ensure a low float, high fully diluted valuation, or FDV, on TG token. I got to tell you, crypto uses more acronyms than the army to force narrative wins out there. This is just my guess here, but we all know the exchanges with power can force these kinds of token changes. Investors who already have waited almost 5 years were given the following email informing them of a vesting change with the option for a refund. Here was the letter the Off the Grid team sent. And it states, "We appreciate your continued support and trust. Following our roadmap, we launched the Guns testnet, blah, blah, blah. After careful analysis, according to our SAFT, we've decided to implement adjustments to our tokenomics. These changes are designed to foster a robust and healthy foundation for the ongoing growth and success of the Guns ecosystem. In light of these updates, we would like to offer you an option to request a refund of your purchase consideration." Meaning, hey, I know you just sent us a bunch of money 5 years ago, which could bootstrap our operation. And instead of giving you guys the terms that we agreed on, it's not going to happen. And we're going to rescind that offer. And you're going to sit on your hands and you're going to like it. Or you can ask for your money back, whatever that was. Not of the sweet appreciation of value. So now when you hear that story, you're like, huh, those dirty VCs? Well, look, it goes both ways, because those dirty VCs are the ones that actually funded great projects like that, and they get the shaft. So let you think about that, and we'll talk about it in the Q&A section. Anyhow, that's it for tonight. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. We'll talk about it's time sensitive. Now let's get into a little Q&A, and I can tell there's a bunch already, and we'll get into it. If you got to take off, take off. I appreciate you coming by anyhow. Have a great rest of your day or night. Let's see. Hey, look at that. And Bell says, sounds like a massive lawsuit. Future Millionaire says, fun fact, Gonzilla acquired Game Informer. Ooh, that's a magazine, I think. And plans to bring back the magazine subscription. That's pretty cool. I like that. We'll see what happens. Buenas noches. Never on Google. I trust an IBIT, not your keys, not your problems from hackers. Yeah, exactly. What are some good AI plays and entry points? I like Aether. And then we, me and Jerry were just talking about this on Sunday. What was it? One of the different Solana-based AI plays. But no, I like Aether and their ability to rent out GPU space and compute. I can get behind that. Let's see. Dad, Steve, always send a test transaction first. That's true. It's a very good device. Let's see what else. I only have Citus Heroes and it's completely fallen off a cliff. Well, that's like most altcoins. That's okay. Yeah. Ben, well, I'll get that one. Hey, Rob, did you see the guy who burned millions in ETH to tell everyone that a Chinese hedge fund called COINBASE was using technological brain control? Wow. I got to see that. I got to tell you, you could probably tell that story without burning all those ETH, but I guess who would listen? Rob, where would you put 10K right now? I would probably put 10K into Rob's Bitcoin public address. And if you send me 1 Bitcoin, I'll send you 2. Just kidding. 10K, I'd probably do the same thing I'm doing now, which is take a look at the risk levels, see which ones are in the right zone, and start to dynamic DCA into. I got to tell you, I think if you want to be safe, I mean, I don't see Bitcoin faltering here. There's just too many tailwinds behind it. Definitely go it. Meme says, will iTrust Capital ensure the crypto it will keep in its custody? I have to ask that question because it's actually Coinbase Prime. And I think with Coinbase Prime, just like with Larry Fink and BlackRock and MicroStrategy, I think they have some sort of insurance policy. I'm not for sure. So, but I will say this though, even if through all those things, if like, let's just say for some god-awful reason, Coinbase gets hacked, then the entire market is pretty much done. Just letting you guys know that. Let's see. What about a SWE 1 year low? SWE is looking pretty good. And for some reason, Toncoin, who'd have thunk it? Doing pretty well. You're supposed to suggest Tomato Coin. Tomato Coin is a worthless meme coin that does absolutely nothing, unfortunately. Kind of like me on Sundays. Base Bradley, you see that SWE has some upcoming unlocks? Are they massive unlocks or like little dinky, stupid unlocks? I'm curious. Well, we can take a look. There's always an unlock somewhere, right? CoinMarketCap.com. I believe this is owned by Binance, as a matter of fact. And if you scroll down and find your crypto SWE, and if you look up here where it says token unlocks, sometimes they give you a schedule of token unlocks. Oh, look at that. So, all right, the unlock schedule. Today, not too much. So it looks like this is a linear unlock. It looks like they're unlocking the early contributors. They have 224 million SWE. That's as of today. As of May 31st, they're going to unlock 20 million, which is worth, $53 million. No, that's not right. $45 million in 2 months or so. So, yeah, there's going to be some sell pressure on that one, but it's been going on since April 30th, 2024. And it won't stop until roughly 2026. Yeah. So if you're ever in doubt about your token, like, why is it not going up in price? Take a look at unlocks. Oh, yeah. And Mold's got a point. Unlocks are no longer guaranteed. Sometimes the money gets refunded. God, how awful. Jerry says, my research shows April will be the low for the stocks and thus Bitcoin. I hope Jerry's right, because that means that I get to ramp up my dollar cost averaging of Bitcoin. I'll take it. Hopefully a decent buy opportunity. We'll see. You know, it's just, I feel like this is like almost the same thing as what we did back in 2020. Everybody was scared about fill in the blank, whatever it was. And then we would, we would think about it and we'd say, man, why would anybody hold Bitcoin when half the population is going to get wiped out by this coronavirus? It doesn't make any sense. And then, of course, it went from 3,000, 4,000 up to 67,000. So there we are. Everybody needs solid fundage of gold 2.0, essentially. Let's see. CryptoJat says, Rob, are you investing equally in stocks and crypto or heavier DCA into crypto compared to stocks? I am heavier into real estate than I am into crypto. That'll be my second one. And then I'm way, way, way bigger into crypto than I am into equities. But I hold, let me see. Fill out this app. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's my combination. And then let's see. I have Tesla, Coin, MicroStrategy, Airbnb. Yeah. So, and I will tell you, one of the mistakes I made was I bought in 2021 at the top, and then I never bought again during the 2022, 23, 2024, because I put everything into crypto. And if I would have put a little bit into the stocks, I would have done much, much better. But here we are. Robert says, are your next purchase on rentals going to be in PR or US? I don't know. I think I'll probably going to get away from owning real estate and just do loans from now on. I think that's the better way to do it, especially around here. There's massive opportunities. You got people who, the banks here are awful. And to get a loan is like ridiculously tough. And but if you are like a hard money lender and you can be on the first lien, then things can change. And people say, why would you do that? Why don't you just put everything into Bitcoin? It's because I know that there's only so much that's really going to change. And if I make an exponential 10x tomorrow, is that going to change my life much? No, not really. So I think most of the thing that'll change my life is if I actually do something of value. And that'll probably be one of those things. Shallon says, don't you think the jobs data is manipulated so the Fed can do anything they want? Absolutely. Yeah. All these jobs added and everyone still lives paycheck to paycheck with thousands of debt. It's amazing too. Also, if you take a look at, if someone could pull this up and tell me what it is, credit card debt, delinquencies. I think we've reached over $1 trillion so far, or just credit card debt. I wouldn't go so far as to say delinquencies, but I know that like 3 or 4 months ago, we were at $1 trillion in credit card debt in America. So if that doesn't tell you anything, and then also you can also take a look at delinquencies for mortgages in America, and those are actually going higher. So if that's the big thing, that's not a good look for America and our economic outlook. Rob, let me get a loan for a surf shack in Rincontra. In other words, thank you for letting us screw you all these years. Yeah, pretty much. AI plays. Rob was on a lot of money to Bobby. My friend Bobby's done a pretty good job at doing degenerate stuff, but being responsible enough to sell when I reminded him to sell. Which is, when your crappy meme coins double, you don't just sit there and gloat about it. The first thing you do is you sell. And then when it doubles again, then you sell again. And then you can wait for it to go 3, 4, 5x after that. I don't really care. But Bobby had my friend Bobby had a good job of actually selling when you're supposed to. Got a Coinbase stock target you're holding through thick and thin? No, I think Coinbase is still going to be one of those epicenters of centralized exchanges. I know Binance has the real foothold in global, but I still think that Coinbase will probably be the bigger player as time goes on, especially if crypto becomes the epicenter in the United States like Trump wants it to be. We'll see. Because Bobby's solvent. Yeah, but he's dumb. He's solvent just fine, but he doesn't know what to do with all that money. All right. Brian, to catch you with the Just Be the Bank guys? Sure. Well, that's nice. What? Have you heard of Charles Hoskinson's token? Also that he has plans for it? Oh, this ought to be good. This ought to be good. Would love to see Ledger integrate Coinbase. That would be good. But why? Why would they integrate Coinbase when they're making so much money off the fees? Like there's this. When I used Ledger a couple of times to buy crypto, and I'll never do that again. They use this company called MoonPay. It's very big, but the rates are like astronomical. So I'm like, oh, that's bad. But some people, they just do it because they're whales and they don't really care. Yeah, Base is so good, fast and cheap. It is. And if you want to, move like USDC around, very, very cheap, very fast, works. Chip Taker says, I genuinely appreciate the innovative initiatives that World Mobile Tokens are taking. Thank you, Rob, for introducing that project. Yeah, it was actually James Bowater who introduced me to that one. And he's the one that did the intro to Mickey Watkins. And behind the scenes, they're doing a lot of big things. But, I mean, you got to understand with these telecommunications and what they're trying to do, not just to be like say Helium Mobile, which is still a good project, I think. Helium Mobile, They pretty much piggybacked off of the existing infrastructure. That is, I want to say it's T-Mobile, but they're using their towers and their communications and their part of their tech to connect people for talk, text, and data. Great, fine, super cheap, super easy, right? But with World Mobile, they're like, no, we're going to go from the ground up. And when you do something like that, because they're not going to create towers, it's all about those aerostats. And it's all about using those like a mesh network. When you do something like that, it's the complexity is much more. And because of that, it's going to take a little bit longer. But yeah, I know that they keep selling out other nodes, so we'll see how it works out. Not that that's a great thing, but it's looking relatively good. Mongo coin. Ugh. Everybody loves that in Puerto Rico, though. Base destroying Solana. It's catching up, but destroying. I mean, come on. Car about to get repo. Rent past due. Insurance due. Gas will shut off. Hard money loan. That's a very hard money loan. No, I will tell you this. One thing that I've learned across the years is if you're going to do a loan, there's two ways to think of loans. One, you'll never see that money again. You'll never see that money again if you do a loan, if it's uncollateralized. If it's uncollateralized, which coincidentally is what Voyager did with 3 Arrows Capital, good lesson. If you're ever going to drop $640 million in an uncollateralized loan, make sure you don't have everybody else's money and you screw everybody else over. Just point one. And and point two, if you're going to do any kind of like business loan, make sure you have the collateralized assets and you're the first lien. That would be the big thing. Okay. I'm more interested in seeing Apple and Google layer 2 networks interconnected by ETH. Well, wow, you can send a mutable file between people of different networks. No one ever know that we're using ETH. And that would be great. We'll see what happens. It's got to be layer 2, though. And then the settlement layer will be Ethereum, of course, right? I borrowed money to give to MicroStrategy that borrows money to buy Bitcoin. That does sum it up, doesn't it? Does anybody have any kind of apprehension against MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor? I'm just asking this, just between us. Because I remember how we used to put remember 2021 came and we put everybody on a pedestal and how great they were. And it seems like with Michael Saylor, like he can do no wrong. But I'm like, I mean, part of me just thinks at some point that, he can make a pretty big mistake and go a little too far, and we'll see. I don't know. It seems like nobody says that. Yeah, it makes me wonder. Yeah, it's always scary when you elevate a man to godlike status. Yeah. Larry Fink and Saylor are going to get humbled. We'll find out. MicroStrategy is long on Bitcoin, average 14x. Oof. What's MicroStrategy's endgame? Become an ex-US Fed? I think it's just to be. Gotta listen to Saylor talk about it. Kind of like the shining light of what Bitcoin investment opportunities could and should be. It's kind of like that. We need these billionaires to keep representing. Yeah. And then I'll leave it here with. I'll leave it here with based. I forgot to sell one of my kidneys on Bitcoin at 16K, Rob. That's okay. I mean, I think everything around 80K is for me is a pretty good buying point. Once we get into the high 90s, I think I'll turn off the spigot. But right now, it's not too bad. And we'll see what happens on Wednesday, April 2nd. But that's it for tonight, everybody. Oh, also remember, everybody, April 1st is tomorrow, which is April Fool's Day. So look for a lot of stupid titles and funny jokes and stuff that I'm just too old to really care about. That's it for tonight. Thanks everybody for stopping by. I appreciate you. Like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for hanging out with me for a good 40 minutes. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Adios.